In the frozen land of Nador, they were forced to eat Robin's minstrels. And there was much rejoicing.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Baron After Dark. That could be a little bit of a abbreviated one because I only have about 45 minutes with our esteemed guest. There he is.
Where is he?
Texas
Where is
Salty Sea. You.
I'm dyslexic, Texas Salty Sea tonight. I'm Reverso. I'm like Bizarro Superman. You guys remember that from the Justice League when they would have like opposite world dudes like God, what was it? It was Bizarro Superman. I didn't know if there was like a reverse Wonder Woman, you know?
I know there was
Wonder Woman had like Wonder Woman was in drag or something.
Yeah. It was Jimmy Farr.
Okay. Corporal Klinger is part of the Justice League. You know what's crazy is suddenly Corporal Klinger is an icon. You know, instead of just like everybody knew he was just doing it to get attention to get out of the army. Anyway, now you do it to become like the Secretary of Defense. Dude, what's going on? You and I and a whole bunch of people have been working on a project we can't talk about, but that is it's going to be very impressive. And I don't say that lightly. It's going to premiere on Halloween. It was a passion project of mine, and everyone that I told is 100% in. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
Oh, more than happy to. I mean, I was more than happy to do YouTube Twister. Oh, I guess I ruined it right there. YouTube Twister.
It was naked. It's
naked YouTube Twister.
But we blurred a lot out. And
and of course, my super wrench John Rendell is here today, as well as the old man. And let's see, we have a Salty Texas Sea in the chat there, as well as the man of Manthurian. Did I say it right?
Manethrin. I was actually talking to him on the phone before your show about some stuff. But hail to you, Nathan. Thanks for hanging out tonight.
Of course, we got Zax, our wild Canadian man there, and let's see, he's here.
Wild Canadian boy, that's what he is.
There we go, the wild Canadian. Oh, we have Mystery Men and Monsters. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Yeah, we've been playing a little tag back and forth, but we're finally here. And my apologies, I went in the wrong studio. I had
Yeah.
for next week's show. So I'm gonna have to redo all that. That's
We've all done that. It's the middle of the week. You're doing a lot of shows, dude. I saw one that you were doing a charity stream for someone who's doing animal rescue, and that's something that's near and dear to my heart. So, good work on that.
yeah. Oh yeah, the bunny. Yeah, the bunny lady. That's Gary Ambrosia's wife.
Yep.
Mhm.
Solid. I love bunnies. I really do. I never raised them. I had chickens and goats and turkeys and ducks, but never raised
Nope.
rabbits.
No rabbits, huh?
No.
Yeah, they're fun. I know. I have a friend here actually in down here. He has rabbits, and unfortunately, one of them's sick, and he's looking to get help. So it's like first thing I thought of was the bunny rescue out there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's weird. We're talking about bunnies, and this is the way my brain works. But are there any horror movies that feature bunnies? Like,
Night of the Lepus.
What is it?
Night of the Lepus, I believe it is. Has
really
DeForest Kelly in it. Yeah, DeForest Kelly's in it. Yeah.
What? You're lying to me.
I would never lie to you. I would never lie to you, man.
You sure about
well,
that?
Fib, but that wasn't lie.
I remember when I was in elementary school, there was this book called Bunnicula, where it was a vampire bunny, and it was the bunny sucked all the orange out of the carrots, which, isn't really that terrifying. But dude, you gotta show me how do you spell? Dude, you're right. So it's Night of the Lepus. Is that what it is?
Lepus, yeah. Night of the. Let me take a look here.
Got it.
You got it. Oh, quick. Yeah, yep. And it has DeForest Kelly's in it. I know that. And there's got the vampire bunny right there in the corner looking over you.
Are you kidding me?
No.
What? Oh my god. How did you find this? How did you guys in chat? I mean, I did. It's not that I didn't believe our man Baron. It's just that I've never heard of this before. So this is an actual screen cap from the movie.
Oh, let me get it up here.
What is going on? Are those bunnies snorting Adderall? I mean, what are they doing? Is it speed? Baron, what's going on here?
It looks like they're having fun. It looks like they're a Club 54 bunny version, snorting good stuff. And
but wait, this is. I mean, oh my god, dude, you sent me down a rabbit hole.
I put you down a rabbit hole.
But dude, check. Hold on, we got to see. Look at this. Now we're all familiar with our man Bones, Leonard, McCoy, and. Look at him there, rocking the stash.
Oh, yeah. Definitely post Star Trek and got the stash on there. And he's got the bandana around his neck.
He's looking like he's a swinger. The question I have for you, is that his real mustache? Or is that, it looks like a fake mustache? If it's his real mustache, I mean, no disrespect, rest in peace, man. But wow. Yeah.
I think.
I think somebody needs a deforestation. Oh, hey-oh. But yeah, dude, I'm so easily amused. It's a horror movie with Leonard Nimoy in it, not Leonard Nimoy, with DeForest Kelly in it, and bunnies.
How can you go wrong? How can you go wrong?
You can't.
No. I mean, it was the Kingdom of the Ants that had Shatner in, if I remember right.
Oh wow! Look, there's and oh my god! I want to say hey to some people. Hello to Leia Rose.
Mm-hmm.
And hail again to Gap After Dark, Manamanethrin, Zax. It's great to see you guys. It's been a weird week. It's been a weird week at Lake Wobegon.
Yeah, it's been, for me too, it's been a busy one. It's like, I'm tired. I'm ready to go to bed, man. I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah. I'm the real world, we'll just say that. In my interactions with people in the real world, meaning work, have been weird. I mean, people are kind of like fraying or disintegrating. And the reactions are fascinating. We'll just say that in a lot of ways. But it's also been weird to watch YouTube. And a lot of people that I know either very well or
Mm-hmm.
people that I know informally that YouTube seems to be doing things. Nobody seems really sure what they are, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't seem to be good things. And
No.
yeah, they're getting a little strike the channel happy. I'm just gonna say that. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm going to make an effort to go through and make sure I have all my subscriptions still there because I found that I've been unsubscribed to channels.
Oh yeah.
I'm going. Why haven't I seen anything from Echo Base Network in a while? And it's like I'm not subscribed to them. What? Whoa! I didn't unsubscribe.
Well, what's fascinating, and I have to be extraordinarily careful about this, is
Mm-hmm.
that there are channels who do what we do and
Mm-hmm.
make fun of things or that, whatever. I mean, they're in our sphere and they've
Mm-hmm.
made one or two little comments about, let's just say, current events.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is blown up. Doesn't matter about the other 99.9999999% of the content.
Mm-hmm.
They had wrongthink, and I have to be really careful what I'm saying, and it's costing them. And I don't mean to make it dark, but I'm just trying to say, man, there's a lot of content creators, and I'm not going to name names,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of us are kind of pulling back, and we're going,
Yeah.
what is going on right now? And that's why I'm doing these special projects that I am. I'm doing film restoration. I'm trying to learn how to do green screen animation. I'm trying to work with other people. I'm trying to do things that involve voice talent. That's as far as I'll go in saying what I'm saying. And just
Mm-hmm.
to try and make something creative, because Hollywood isn't going to change. Netflix isn't going to change. Amazon's not going to change. I don't care what anybody says. Warner Brothers is going to put out the same garbage they always have. And so what do? We either turn our backs to it, or maybe we try and make some stuff. Now, we can't compete with Hollywood, can we? But we can have fun making something and getting better at making those things. And that's kind of where my time and effort has been,
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, you can't compete with Hollywood, but I tend to disagree. It's like if people start moving to another area because they're fed up with it. We see ratings. We've seen the ratings been going down. People are
Mhm.
hungry for real entertainment. I know that your channel, you've been taking a kind of you and Purple Valkyrie and a few of the others over there have been taking a move from doing, the criticism or critique, I should say, is more apt about our culture and been
Yeah.
venturing forth. I mean, I was watching that excellent film that you restored on there, that
Oh,
that horror
Horror
film.
Hotel. Horror
Horror
Hotel.
Hotel, yeah, with
Yeah.
Christopher Lee.
That was a lot of fun, and changing an aspect ratio and then cleaning up the audio too.
Hmm.
I like that movie, and there's a certain scene that all the boys who like girls, when they watch the movie, we all like that scene. We'll just say that.
Oh yeah.
But this movie came out in 1960. The same
Hmm.
year that Alfred Hitchcock's famous, Psycho did. They both
Hmm.
take place in hotels, but the stories, to my mind, are fundamentally different. And
Oh yeah.
I'd never seen Christopher Lee do an American accent before. He's always just Christopher Lee, and yeah,
He
yeah,
sounded a lot different in there. It's like, and what a
yeah,
talented man he was. I mean, anytime you can get to watch him, no matter what the movie
yeah.
is, you're going to enjoy watching him.
In all of the work he did in Hammer Horror, I love it. I absolutely now no one can replace Bela Lugosi. Let's be honest, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But Christopher Lee is a damn good Dracula. And I think for me, and maybe it's just a product of being Gen X and whatever, but he's kind of my Dracula more than Bela Lugosi is. Because back in the day, we didn't have VCRs. You couldn't just run out and rent a movie or get a movie
Mm-hmm.
on demand with Bela Lugosi in the original Universal Monsters. You had to get lucky, like on a
Mm-hmm.
Sunday matinee or Sven Gulli, at some late night
Yeah.
horror channel. Otherwise, you're on your own, man. But everybody was always dropping Hammer horror movies late at night and other stuff like that, So Christopher
Oh, I
Lee,
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And Hammer horror films are great. I mean, and what's great about it is Christopher Lee did not try to be Bela Lugosi.
No.
He
No,
took
no,
it
no.
his own, which was what worked in. That's why they're about on par with each other. It's like they took it and they went different areas with it.
It's crazy because there's so many movies like I haven't seen since I was a little kid. Like I saw them with my grandpa, or they were on like a Sunday, rainy, snowy Sunday afternoon.
Mhm.
And, but it's like Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Wolfman. I just watched
Mhm.
this movie and I'm like, all right, this is probably going to suck. And it was like, no, this is
No.
actually fantastic. And the other thing, and I think this is an interesting sensitivity, that watching all of this current year bad entertainment where people don't write, don't direct, don't care about scenes, can't act, and there's no story, watching Abbott and Costello changed for me because it was kind of like, whatever. That's kind of, it's getting a little old when I watched it in the 70s and the 80s. Now I watched it,
Mhm.
and you look at the timing and you look at the physical comedy of these guys, and
Mhm.
I don't know. I was talking about it, I think, with Purple Valkyrie, and I think this older entertainment really does show what it means to be a human being. And
Mhm.
I think what a lot of us are having a problem with current year in entertainment is that it is not about presenting a human story. It is about presenting a trans human story. And I think
Mhm.
it's social engineering. But that's part of why, to circle back to what you said, I have kind of taken a step back from reviewing things that I have now found to be utterly beneath my contempt.
Mhm.
And I will go back to doing a Tuesday show. I will. But I could not watch one more second of the Rings of Power. I couldn't. And I came to this place, and this is not my truth. This is just my realization, is that with
Mhm.
shows like this, and look at She-Hulk, look at Andor, look at
Mhm.
everything. And if you look at things over time, look at every Marvel show, look at every Disney Star Wars, look at all these things. I think we've kind of been tricked into doing their job for them to a certain degree, where they bait us, we take the bait. And I've talked about this with Zach, who's in chat.
Mhm.
We take the bait, then we say something like, boy, that character isn't supposed to be that or this. And they're like, see, they're a racist, or they're ex-phobic, or whatever it is. And then we're like, no, we're not. And then it's like, and then they sit there and they just keep building it up. Now we should still talk about these things, but man, shows
Mhm.
like She-Hulk and every damn Marvel movie that comes out, I just like, other people can do it, and they should
Mhm.
be allowed to do it, and I'll support
Oh
people.
yeah.
I can't, and I won't do it unless there's something I care about. I will review Wheel of Time. I will
Mhm.
review House of the Dragon. I'll be on shows. But at a certain point, I want to fill my soul in these dark, weird times of like Cold War 2.0,
Yeah.
and Jimmy Carter 2.0, with good things,
Mhm.
and it's sure in a lot of ways is not on streaming. There's some exceptions. I don't know if you saw Stranger Things season 4. I loved it.
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
I could love House of the Dragon, but I have to see if they stick the landing.
Mhm.
Um, but otherwise, man, don't need Hollywood. Don't need streaming. I mean,
Mhm.
I can go back and watch decades of fantastic movies and
Mhm.
without agenda that have stories. You know?
Right. That's why I've been a big promoter of things like Pluto TV, which has so many things out there. That's where you can watch a lot of these old shows, old movies, and such. Tubi. A lot of these people have these older films and older TV shows. And as you were saying about Abbott and Costello, I mean they trained vaudeville. They had to know what their timing was. They're in
You
front of a
can tell.
crowd.
You
Yeah.
can tell.
And a lot of those old people, Marx Brothers, Abbott Costello, Laurel and Hardy, all these people, they knew
Yeah,
how to do because they're part of that evolution from silent to sound, from vaudeville, from stage to screen.
that's the
Uh,
trick. That's the
hmm
trick. Working in front of a live audience, especially, I mean, vaudeville is a whole other thing. We should do a show just sometime about vaudeville. There may be some
Oh yeah.
people in the audience or the rewatch that don't know what that was, but it was essentially traveling shows that would go around before the advent of radio and perform in towns. And sometimes they were with circuses, sometimes they would be in theaters, and the theaters were meant to have vaudeville actors and plays on them because there was no
hmm
motion pictures yet. But
Right.
look at I would say the quality actors and actresses of the 20th century. I think that's pretty much all we got. Let's be honest. But the ones that started on screen in what they used to call legitimate theater, what they managed to bring to motion pictures is it's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable. I mean, you can look at Sir Ian McKellen. You can look at Christopher Lee. You can look at Peter Cushing. You can look at God rest her soul, Angela Lansbury. So many of these people, because they knew how to work in physical space with the energy of an audience.
Right.
And when you do that, you already know what you need to put out. You don't need to be told by a director. Now there are some great directors. There really are. But tell me one really good director right now who is consistently putting out a quality product and a quality level of cinema and film. I know people are going to say Quentin Tarantino, but this is my hot take. I think Quentin Tarantino misses more than he hits.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think you're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right. No, you're my guest. You're supposed to talk. And I just want to say hi to Anna Moss. Da, 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 da. He's in the crowd there.
Da, 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 da.
And well, yeah, I mean, Quentin. I don't know. I've never was enthralled or enraptured with him at all, Quentin Tarantino. The same thing, like, Simon Pegg, I know he's starting to get all heat because he's out there making his comments about She-Hulk. And I was one that was never enthralled with Simon Pegg either. Like, well, he's like, it's like, no, I didn't like Hot Fuzz. I didn't like those films. And
I didn't watch all of Hot Fuzz. And to me, it was like, okay, this is a third-rate copy of Monty Python. If I want somebody who's going to be John Cleese, I'll go watch John Cleese. And there's a man who I hope continues to stay with us for a very long time, healthy and happy, and speaking his mind, because he's somebody who can have an effect on the culture war. And I think he does, because it encourages people like us. And at the end of the day, we're nobodies. They don't really care what we think. And if you look at what they're doing to our economies and our power supply, they don't care about us at all. But, I mean, it's just... The culture war, I think we have to start fighting it, not just reacting.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm a savior. I have no delusions of grandeur, to quote Han Solo, or C-3PO, actually. But I'm going to put my energy into creating things and, not standing in a corner with a tambourine and a cult, although there are days in corporate America where that seems preferable. But man, I don't know. I'm gonna create some things, build some chicken coops, plant a garden, go read to the elderly, go to an animal shelter, But if you're gonna get on here, man, speak your truth, do what you gotta do, but like we're doing, like a lot of people, and I can't wait for everybody to see this thing.
I can't.
We're gonna make something good, and good, like, not C-. My mom told me it's good, but good, and you've seen some of the dailies on this stuff. And not only can we do this, but we, in my opinion, should. And should is a bad word. Nobody likes should. You should do this and you should do that. Well, I think maybe not getting sucked into the vortex of agenda and climate and trans and I don't know. I gotta shut up before I get your channel taken out, because YouTube,
I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care. But
YouTube's getting real trigger happy. Happy. Sorry, dude. Go ahead.
Don't be sorry at all. If I'm going to go down, I'm going to go down swinging. You know what I mean? We're supposed to have the ability to state our mind, as long as we don't slander or such other people out there.
Slander.
Yeah. Truth hurts. It really does. Now,
making shit up for 4 years over an elected official, which was all proven wrong, and acting like it was still true. Nothing happens to those people, but someone expresses an opinion about the Ukraine or the climate
Mm-hmm.
or Somebody's Island.
Mm-hmm.
And YouTube doesn't like that.
Yeah, well, people shouldn't be afraid to say whether you agree with them or not. And I'm a firm believer in, I don't care, you could go out there with some of the vilest things out there. And, it's like, I'd rather have you out there talking because I want them to hear it out of your mouth. You come back and go, you're crazy, man.
It's crazy. I mean, look back at the things that you and I were shocked at when we were kids, right? Like, I thought nobody could ever be harder than Sam Kinison. Remember how Sam Kinison was dude, talented, very talented guy.
Oh, yeah.
Then you had Andrew Dice Clay.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, I guess you had Jim Carrey, but he always kind of pissed me off. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah,
but,
Jim Carrey, yeah.
Now
he was more just about the faces, it's like.
Yeah. And then, oh God, it's the African-American gentleman from Yellow Springs, Ohio. Oh God. Chris Rock was cutting edge for a while, and then who's the guy who Dave Chappelle. Like Dave Chappelle was kind of on that edge too. And then all this, I don't want to keep saying woke because it's not. All of this neo fascism hit, and suddenly they're telling people what's funny, and you can't make jokes about these people, you can't make jokes about those people, and then comedy kind of crashed hard,
right?
So who is on the edge now? Who's out there speaking truth? I got
Bill Burr.
Okay, Bill Burr. Okay, Bill Burr is, to me, I like his older stuff, but I think he's playing the game. Now, is he playing a long game? I don't know.
No.
I didn't see him out there defending somebody that a lot of people in this fandom bought action figures for, and that should be in the second season of an incredibly mediocre Star Wars show. Was the only good thing about it. But what the hell was I going to say? I had a point to this, Bear.
Oh, about comedy. We can't. Oh,
yeah. Dude, I met George Carlin.
He did.
Shook hands with the guy, had him sign 3 books at a bookstore, a tiny little bookstore. When I was just going to say, I was working in living in our nation's capital. And, you grow up watching George Carlin, and it's like, your parents catch you listening to Carlin or Richard Pryor on cassette tape. You got your ass beat. And I'm not saying metaphorically. The belt is not there to hold the pants. It is there to instill fear and terror in children. Okay? It worked. Was it right? Was it wrong? I don't know. Look at the results without it. But anyway, George Carlin was remarkable for pointing out the obvious.
Right.
And occasionally throwing F-bombs, and he had his 7 dirty words, and he got arrested, I believe it was in Milwaukee, for saying those back in the day. But has he progressed? Look at his comedy in the late 90s, like right before September 11th, like the things that he was saying, where he started to kind of call things out that either he knew or he could read were coming. And people in the late 90s, they kind of laughed nervously. Everything he made jokes about, we're living in that world now. And it's wild, because was the man a prophet? I think so. Was the man incredibly gifted? I think so. He's troubled. He's imperfect, just like all of us. But go back and listen to that stuff. And it's like he's telling you the news of 2022.
Dennis Miller did a little bit of that too at one time. He was able to do that.
Okay. Total nerd alert. I bought every Dennis Miller book on cassette tape to listen to and drive around in the mid-90s, because I loved that guy. I loved him on Saturday Night Live. He was suave. He was cool. After, again, what happened in September, over a decade ago, he kind of lost his mind. And I still don't know what that was about. Yeah, let's not talk about that event. It's just interesting. I mean, Dennis Miller, I liked his style. In the Off-White album is funny as hell. It's great to go back and listen to that album, because when it came out, I think it was the late 80s, early 90s, he's talking about Gen X. So, that's back when I was like, not even 20. And now here we are, I'm 50 something, 50. And it's like, he's like, I don't know what makes these kids tick. You know, they love Colombian, but not cocaine. They love the coffee. And it's true. Look what happened. You know, that's another one of those drugs. Like, add it to the list of things that I don't need to do that. You know what I mean?
I don't like coffee, so I'm fine.
Yeah. Oh no, I drink the hell out of coffee, dude. You're Scandinavian. You don't drink coffee. Have you been disowned by your people? That's what I want to know.
No, I have not. No,
Okay.
I haven't.
I'm teasing, dude. But
I got my German side, so I got plenty of beer.
Oh,
so there we go.
Okay, fair. Yeah. No, I assumed your ethnicity, which is I should check my privilege because I figured you were in that part of the country, and I took a bet that you were related to people from Lake Wobegon. But
we got the Norwegian. I got the Norwegian. I got the German. I got a little Poland. I got a little Russian in me. So I'm a World War brewing right here.
Oh, dude, yeah. Well, and you have some. I mean, all of those cultures. I mean, do you remember when people would ask you what you are?
Mm-hmm.
It had nothing to do with this.
Right.
Nothing to do with your color. It had to do with your ethnicity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was. I mean, and I still look at the world that way. Italian culture. You had Japanese culture. You had Laotian culture. You had Native American, and then within Native American, all of the different tribes within it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say that word anymore? I don't care. But then you had the Germans, and the Germans went to the Catholic Church, and you had the Norwegians, the Swedes. They went to the Lutheran Church, and everybody went to different sides of town on Sunday, and everybody went to the church basements and had their different hot dishes and had their different Sunday schools. And then we came in and played ball together, and it didn't matter.
Right.
But those things are important. You know, I mean, my ethnicity is incredibly important to me. And I found out my sister did that DNA test thing, which don't do. Don't do. But she never listened to me, but whatever. But, I found out that I'm like Italian. Like,
Mamma mia.
Nobody told me I was Italian. It was always Polish and German and Irish and a little bit of this and Scandinavian. And it was like Italian. What the hell? And it's like that's like a big chunk of it. And it's Southern or Northern Italian or whatever, where the I'm not gonna quote that line from True Romance.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I'm talking about. Eggplants. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that on Barrett's show. Yeah, I'll stop talking.
We'll do on yours.
All he said was eggplant. I'm safe. It's fine.
Now you know why you like pizza so much and spaghetti and all that stuff.
Dude, pizza. I subsist on pizza.
Oh yeah, it is a lifeblood for us to survive off of. But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean when it comes around the comedy. We grew up on different comedy than what they have today, and as I always sit back and say, comedy's pain that we laugh at. Comedy's humiliation that we laugh at.
Yeah,
it's foibles that we laugh at, and it's important. We need that.
Well, and there's an episode of MASH. Back when we only had 3 channels, and MASH was on every night after the news, at least where I grew up. And, usually 2 episodes. There's a psychiatrist that goes around to work with the people at MASH, Alan Alda and Loretta Swit and all them. And Hawkeye's having a really hard time. So this Sidney Friedman is the name of the psychiatrist. And he says, anger internalized is depression. Anger externalized is humor or Hawkeye. And that's a lot of, I think, what a lot of us do. Well, I'm going to speak for myself. That's kind of what I do on YouTube, where I will use sarcasm or try and be funny and clever just to get out the fact that, the world, this is not what we signed up for. Do you know what I mean? We also know how the world worked. We know they broke it. We know why they broke it. We know what they're going to do after they break it, and we're not interested in it. And so you got to kind of externalize it in some ways, and that's why I'm throwing myself into learning new skills like animation and green screen and very complex special effects, audio editing, and things like that. And I mean, what is it for you, sir, besides YouTube? What is your passion? You have a cat, You like
Yeah.
to drink beer.
Oh, yeah.
You like to drink beer and go watch the Vikings play, eh?
No, I don't watch football. I watch rugby, man.
Tell me more. Is it girl rugby? Is it
Both men's and women's rugby. I like watching both. And I
can watch chicks tackle each other. I can, especially
Mm-hmm.
with those long ponytails and all the grunting. I'm sorry, I didn't.
We're going to a really weird area here. No, but yeah, I mean, of course, I love rugby, men's and women's, 15s and 7s. It depends on what that is. But reading books and such. I love reading. It's just there's nothing to watch on TV, and even a lot of the new books are garbage. So it's like I'm going through my library of older books and enjoying the dickens out of them all.
Yeah,
and talking about books, I mean, you did that wonderful series, which I was honored to be part of, about the fans' reaction.
Oh yeah, the Fire of the Fandom.
Fire in the Fandom, and I think that is one of the best way that has been. Presentation of what we, it's like, this is what we're feeling here.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a well laid out argument of why. And of course, the only response they have back is ists and phobe. And it's like, well, that means we won the argument because you have nothing better to come back at us all. Prove us wrong.
Yeah. And that's part of why I did that. And thank you for that. And again, thank you for being part of it.
Thanks for having me.
It was a remarkable amount of work. I will say that. I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. And the reason why was, you know what? I'm going to not react. I'm going to go on the offensive. And it was really taking the art of war and hit the enemy where they are not. Meet them on the battlefield you choose to meet them on. Don't just get drawn into the one they've laid for you. And so that's why these questions it's very simple. When did you first discover this? What do you like about it? Who's your favorite in the story? And then what are you afraid of?
Right.
That's a pretty well-reasoned argument because you establish credibility, you demonstrate competence, you then express emotion and validation of the source material, and then you, after you've built that case, you go, I'm concerned because I am seeing this. And if you do that, I think you're heard. And I think they fear you. And they should be afraid because we're taking our money away. We really are,
And you had such a wide range of people that did that too. So it's like, it's like it wasn't the same, one little group. It wasn't like it was a bubble. It was like all over the place, and that's what made it really special. People don't realize that we are of different political persuasions, religious persuasions, ethnicities, and such. Yeah, we we'll have differences there, but we still have the one thing: we have this love.
That's
of our
it.
Mythology,
and it unites us. And what are you doing with the Rings of Power? It's not bad. I want to say goodnight to Das Wolfen. I hope you have a good dinner. Thanks for your comments. I love watching you guys in chat talking about Sidney Friedman, talk about all these things. I also saw the comment about not Hollywood Squares. Oh God, it was before my time, but I used to watch the reruns of it with the hippy dippy weatherman. Smothers Brothers. The
Smothers Brothers, yeah.
That's a whole other thing we on YouTube have not talked about in the vintage 60s variety shows.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Carol Burnett. Do you know how many people I've talked to behind the scenes that love Carol Burnett and love all of those episodes? But the Smothers Brothers, not only that, but Dick Cavett. Dude, I'm such a nerd with this stuff, but I have a bunch of Johnny Carson episodes. Because if you want to have chill and see someone who's a true entertainer who doesn't look like he's trying to entertain you, it's Johnny Carson. And Dick Cavett had it to another degree, but he's a little more morose. There's no other way to put it. But the guy knew how to ask questions. And it's you have Janis Joplin on stage with Charleston Heston. Okay. They're sitting in these 60s mid-century furniture with orange shag carpet, smoking with big collars and polyester. And Janis Joplin's stoned out of her mind and drunk. And you got Charleston Heston but they're answering the questions honestly.
Right.
There's no oh my person, my publicist told me to say these answers. They're answering from the heart. And you saw that
Right.
with John Lennon or Robert Kennedy or all of these people who were entertainers, Peter O'Toole. And it's fascinating to watch. It's fascinating to watch these people who were entertainers in these magnificent films, albums, whatever it is. But to see them have genuine human takes, it is entirely opposite to the crap that we have now. You know?
Right. I mean, I tried to copy him. You know, I studied Johnny Carson, and you know, I'm thankful for Pluto TV. They have that Johnny Carson channel. It's a hoot to watch, and that's the important thing. It's like, you know, it's like get people out there, get them to talk, get it outside of what it is they normally talk about. You start seeing the other, you know, other sides of people, and then you can really start seeing why these things mean something. I mean, I mean, I even watched Tom Schneider. I mean, Tom Schneider was fun to watch too.
All of those shows, and look, John Rendell says Sonny and Cher. It's true. Before and after the divorce, the Johnny Cash had a variety show. You know, oh God, who was the guy?
Glenn Campbell had one.
Glenn Campbell did. What an amazing talent! God, what an amazing talent. There's a man with demons. There's a man with demons. We'll just say that. And they're in a bottle.
Yeah.
But that was pretty popular back then. Yeah. Dean Martin, Buddy Hackett, George Burns. Those Dean Martin comedy roasts.
Oh. And if you can ever get your hands on the stuff that they didn't air.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And to get up there and watch Red Fox, you know, who was really tame in Sanford and Son, but was actually a very X-rated comic for the time. Very extremely on stage. And you can listen to some of his stuff, and he is like dirtier than Richard Pryor at peak, you know? To watch Red Fox go after, you know, Bing Crosby or Lucille Ball, or, you know, and to watch the names they call each other, like Muhammad Ali and Dean Martin. And it's like, you know what? They're saying all of these racist things, and it's funny because they're friends and they're making fun of how ridiculous it is to say that. You know?
And they respected each other and they loved each other. And it's which is different than the roasts they do today, where they grab people who don't know each other and they're just out there spewing their mouths. It's like, that's not funny. It's all about sensationalism and look at how stupid that person is. And the problem is they're making for stupid people to begin with. So it's literally it's like walking by a trash fire where the raccoons are roasting marshmallows. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'll keep walking, thanks. I'm not going to hang out. And John Rendell, Foster Brooks. Yeah, Foster Brooks, man.
Yep.
Talk about a guy who could play somebody who was drunk.
Yeah.
So well. I could never do that imitation. It's so hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, and he never drank. It's like he was impersonating people in his family, and that was the reason why he never drank. But yet he was able to bring that forward. And of course, they always, such an unsensitive man. It's like, you know, it's him, you know, with what he grew up with and how he was coping with it.
Yeah. I mean, you look at that, and again, people take that sadness or that rejection or that disillusionment, or like they did to us in March of 2020, the isolation. And again, you have got to get out of that space and you have to do something with it. And, you know, I think a lot of people started channels. I think a lot of people went outside and went to parks, even they were closed anyway, because you know why? F you. You know, just a lot of those things. I don't know if it's part of being Gen X or not, but I have such low regard for authority figures to begin with. And in the last 2 years, I don't have anything. Nothing. I got nothing for you. Don't believe anything you say. I think there's a lot of people like that. And I don't think they know what to do with it other than threaten us, which is not what they're doing. But comedy, you need comedy. You got to let it out. And you can't drink through it because you never get through it if you start drinking through it. No. You kind of got to do something out. Make birdhouses. Go volunteer. Go for a walk. I don't know. Learn how to decorate cakes. Get out of here get into here. I mean, that's what it is, you know? And YouTube, for a lot of people, YouTube is taking away that escape from us to a certain degree. And I don't want to get into it a lot on your show. No. But there's a lot of creators, a lot of people I have a lot of respect for, that are pulling back because of what YouTube is doing and taking away views. There's a lot more going on.
Right.
And it's not just me and people I know. I'm just going to say that. So
it should be this is a creative platform. Let them flow. And as I was saying, this is where we're going to get the next group of talents. It's like what you're doing. You say you're learning how to do green screens and such, but
they're here. They're here. Yeah. They're here, and that's what they're afraid of. People on this platform who express themselves are authentic and have a brain. We are able to defeat multi-million-dollar marketing plans of transnational corporations using AI, behavioral analytics, millions of dollars in marketing studies, simply by buying a $40 webcam, a $50 mic, and maybe putting more RAM on our laptop. You know why? Because we're real and we're authentic, and there's no AI. There's no like, how can we set up this perfect vertical of things we need to hit from a demographic standpoint? We just are human beings. And one thing we're seeing is these transnational corporations, they're not very good at humaning, and humans are actually part of the problem. But who needs an audience? Who needs a consumer, right?
Right.
Makes no sense.
Exactly.
Makes no sense.
And, that's just it. Everybody in the chat is very important. I mean, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. And, of course, it's always great when you start seeing them having their little conversations and little barbs, Yeah. And I see you over there, Phil McCracken. I don't give away McDonald's coupons. That's other channels that do that, not me.
Oh my God. You know what's crazy is all these people were talking about eating those McDonald's pies. You remember when those first came up, those little rectangular pies that came in the little sleeve of death? I'll never forget as a kid biting into those. I was like, oh my God, it's a hot apple pie. And I bit into it, and literally then my head burst into flames. My lips burned off. It's so funny how you have those sensory memories, but I have not eaten like food like that in Jesus, it's 17, 18 years. And but I will go to Whataburger, and that's not the same. Five Guys, it's not the same. Once a month, maybe once every 2 months, But my point with all that is, God, you remember how McDonald's was so important to childhood, and you didn't go all the time. It's a big deal to go, I mean, you went like once a month because we were poor, or if your grandparents picked you up, and then you got that. I remember when they started the Happy Meals, that was not always a thing,
Nope.
But look at all these things that were brands that have destroyed themselves because they need to be more accessible, even though they were already accessible,
I mean, the McDonald's was a nice, colorful, fun-looking place to go to. Now it looks like this European suicide clinic.
Well, not only that, but I mean, apparently that's where the indigent, because I can't say the home thing word or the whatever it is, but it seems like I don't remember anybody coming in all crazy and cracked up with an axe virtually every day in a McDonald's. You know what I mean?
No.
You went there. I mean, my grandmother always got the filet of fish, small fries, and she got a hot coffee. That's all she ever had. The woman, my entire childhood, never had a cheeseburger. It was always the filet of fish, right? But you went in. And I don't know. I mean, is it an allegory for what's going on? Yeah. I mean, that's a whole other thing. But I don't know, man. Branding. You know what I'm talking about when I say the Tiny Bowl Man. Don't squeeze the Charmin. Ancient Chinese Secrets. Parquet. All of those were simple yet very well thought out, organically human marketing approaches.
Right.
And what are they doing now? Calling us racists. It's like, what?
Well, yeah, and what about all those jingles that we remember? They had original songs that you listen to, and then now all they have to do is let's have Sweet Home Alabama for Kentucky Fried Chicken. What?
Oh yeah, I remember this started with that Mop and Glow. God, what was that song? I don't know. But when they started grabbing all the 60s songs and then putting them in
Mhm.
commercials instead of jingles, and it's like, eh. But I mean, you remember all these things like You Deserve a Break Today and
Mhm.
oh
I like
God.
to teach the world to sing.
Oh
Perfect
God.
harmony. Yeah.
I had to sing that in kindergarten. You know what instrument I got to play? A little triangle.
Oh,
Tiny
yeah.
little salty Texas sea going ding 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 in a polyester bell bottoms. It's a true story with a wide collar and a bad bowl haircut, cut like this because my grandmother liked scissors and bowls and not to pay the barber. It's a true story.
Didn't we all look that way though?
Well, we kind of did, and then some of them, some people have that like mushroom haircut,
Oh
where it's
yeah.
like they cut here and then your hair went down like this, and you look like God, you look like you're on Three's Company and not
Yeah.
Jack. You look like one of the girls with those haircuts. And,
Oh, another fun show. Oh,
sorry, I'm thinking about them and Chrissy in a bikini. All right, what are we talking about again? I'm sorry.
oh, it's kind of funny. I liked Joyce DeWitt more myself. I know.
I did too, but I also, dude. Let's be. This is where we said. This is where I'm judging you.
Okay.
Bailey, WKRP.
Yeah.
Lonnie Anderson, or the woman who played Bailey.
Jan Smithers, and I'd go with Bailey Quarters.
Oh, Bailey all the way. Because
Yep.
the quiet ones.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
They're crazy in bed. Yeah.
Mhm. And she's cute. Yeah. She was cute as a
And she had a brain. And yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like Ginger Marianne. Well, Marianne. Hands down.
Dude, every time. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of things I'm going to say, but this is a family-friendly show. As I just look at Ginger and I'm like,
what did I say? This was a family-friendly show.
I don't know. I put a lot of pressure on myself not to use F-bombs on your channel when your dad and your wife are watching. So, yeah.
You should hear them sometime. You should hear me.
No. I mean, you know what I mean? It's old school. It's old school.
I know exactly. Yeah,
So,
as the old saying goes, you're being invited to somebody else's house.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what it comes down to: is mind your P's and Q's, hold the door open, say please and thank you, yes sir, no sir. Mm-hmm. Think of others. Don't just think of yourself.
Right, and that's what we lost.
So racist. It's so patriarchal.
So when did I get Jordan Peterson on here? When did I get Jordan Peterson? You're going to tell me to clean my room now?
I'd tell you, but I don't think it would make a difference. I need to do the same thing. There's a reason why everything around here right now is in a state of flux. Let's just say that, like towering books and other things like that. We'll just say that things have been pulled out for production stuff. But
I don't kind of know what that's like.
Oh Lord! But I do have to.
You have to get going. We only have a small amount of time,
and it's not because we don't have stuff to talk about. Because, dude, we always have stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah. So we got to get together sometime to do a stream, whether it's yours place, my place, some other time.
Let's do that.
Just do a big rap fun time there.
Invite
your friends.
And we will do that. I was so focused on Dark Passages. You all saw that with all of the readings people did, and then all of those scenes were animations I made. So that took a lot of time. And then, like I said, the Rings of Power made me want to climb into a vat of Jim Beam and never get out. So I needed to rethink how I was going to do this thing. And then I just this passion project that I'm working on, which I can't wait to show people, is all consuming. And one thing I've learned is I need to be independently wealthy so I can hire production staff and not just have me doing it until 2:00 in the morning every night when I'm done with work. So, yeah.
Doesn't it remind you of the old days of radio, though?
Oh, the old days in radio. I used to ride my bike in the snow to get to the radio station at 5:30 in the morning. It's a true story. A little FM station to knock on the front door because I couldn't be trusted with keys, to get let in by the dude who was drunk and smelled like some funny herb when I came in, to then go at 6:00 and to pick out the 45s that I needed to play. And so I had 1 hour of live airtime. Then we played American Top 40 with Casey Kasem, which came in on 8 12-inch records.
Yep.
Already built with the commercial spots on there. Except for the local ones where you'd play like, Bob's Car Wash or, Vito's Italian restaurant. And then you play your state ID and then it's back to Casey Kasem,
Casey Kasem's top 20, top 40 hit.
Yeah.
So this one's going out to
dedication. Yeah, I can't even do Casey Kasem, but I got a split. This was fun.
Yeah, you got to. It was great. And thank you for coming on here. We need to talk, and we'll be able to do something. And I want to thank everybody who's in our chat. Thank you for being here, and can't wait for Halloween. That's all I got to say.
I know. I can't wait to be independently wealthy to hire gnomes to do all the editing for me. But you guys, Baron crushed it. A lot of people crushed it, but Baron crushed it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me on. You guys, I hope the rest of your week is quick, easy, painless, and we don't all start glowing in the dark because of,
insanity. You got it. Well, great. Thank you again, Texas, for being on here. And thank you, everybody who was in the chat. And I hope you all have a wonderful, great night. Thank you so much.